All right, everyone. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. People are still trickling in, but we will go ahead and get started. Thank you for being on time and joining us in this session. So we'll start with some introductions. I'm Valerie Chow. I work at the Haas Center on the Cardinal Porter team, and for Schneider, I am in charge of the summer fellowships.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ben Weissman. I'm on the Cardinal Careers team here at the Haas Center, and I run the year-long Schneider fellowships at NRDC.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alondra Gilas. I work on the Cardinal Porter team.
Sorry, Joaquin.
Hello, my name is Joaquin Sims, and I am on the Cardinal Careers team.
Great. And so today we'll give you an overview of the Schneider Fellowship programs, and then we'll have some guest speakers joining us through Zoom through the host organizations as well. So just to kind of start with some background on the Schneider Fellowships. So the summer program is a 12-week full-time program working with, now we have 9 partner host organizations actually, we just added a few in the past month or so. And you would get an $11,500 stipend for your work, and then up to an additional $1,500 for professional travel related expenses. And this year we're actually co-sponsoring the Schneider Fellowship through both the Haas Center and the Precourt Institute for Energy. And that's why we were able to expand the program a little bit. And we have 30 spots available for the summer, which is amazing.
For the year long, it is a 1-year-long program, full-time work, at one of the regional offices of the NRDC, the Natural Resources Defense Council. The stipend does have a little bit of a range, but in the past couple of years, it's been around $65K plus some funding set aside for professional development as well, and health benefits included, etc. So something to note is that traditionally they are in one of these 4 locations. Our fellow this year, we have 1 fellow this year who's working in the New York office. I expect to have job descriptions very soon, but I do not have them yet. That will very likely be at the DC, San Francisco, and Chicago offices. So 3 roles this year, hiring for 3 individuals, job descriptions to be determined.
And then the application deadline, so put that on your calendar for both the summer and year-long program, is January 27th. 2026. There are no extensions. It's a very hard deadline. So please put that on your calendar and submit your applications by that deadline. And so what the application entails for the summer program, it's usually a cover letter. A couple of organizations are requiring a few short essay questions you see online. And then everyone's requiring, of course, a resume and a transcript. And then a couple of organizations, actually U.S. Green Building Council as well as California Board, are requesting just a name of a reference. So somebody they can contact in case you want to check, on something before they extend an offer. Just the name. They don't have to write a recommendation letter.
For the year-long, we do ask for 2 recommendation letters. So if you plan to apply for this, I would say probably this week would be your best shot to send out those requests to individuals that you want to write those letters if you've not done so already. I would say one of those, this is described, I think, in the nitty-gritty on the website, but generally it's 1 professional reference and 1 academic reference. So someone that can attest to you working in a professional full-time environment, and someone that can attest to your academics. So it does not need to be strictly full professor or anything like that, but we really ask you to think about who would be a fitting person in both cases that knows you, knows your interests, and someone that you could describe the purpose of this program, how it's going to help you with your development. So endorse the idea of sitting down with that person, having a conversation. Additionally, NRDC wants a writing sample. This does not need to be about the content or skills. You don't need to demonstrate specific knowledge you have in the writing sample. The purpose is to understand, for NRDC to have a sense of how you communicate. Are you a good writer? Are you going to be able to hit the ground running to help with policy memos, to help with some of the high-level writing that they do on a daily basis there? So this can be an excerpt of something you've already written, a single-digit number of pages. Okay. Timeline for these things for both summer and year-long is parallel. So interviews, so the organizations themselves conduct interviews with candidates that they wish to consider, and those will take place probably, or ideally, in this range here, the 17th to the 27th. And then offers will be made then in early March, so just shortly thereafter. I'll finish the slide, I guess. For the summer, the dates of starting are June 8th, 15th, or 22nd, whereas it's kind of August, September for the year long, but that's up to the discretion of the individual that receives the offer and their manager. Other things to the slide.
Okay. So some frequently asked questions. You can apply for as many opportunities as you'd like. The summer opportunities are open to all enrolled Stanford students. So from undergrads to doctoral students, you can be graduating, that's fine as well, which is not usually for the summer programs, but for Schneider, yes. And you can apply for both summer and 1 year, but you cannot do both if you get both. So you would have to choose. Some summer, so for example, RMI says they are not looking at doctoral students for the summer, and then Union of Concerned Scientists are not looking for Frosh. So there's a little bit of restrictions depending on the organization, but for the most part, it's open to everybody. The applications, like we noted before, are pretty similar but not identical. So most orgs are asking for cover letters, but there are a couple that are asking for just short answers. We talked about the references and letters of recommendations. So for the summer, it's just reference names. But Ben can kind of talk a little bit more about who you should be asking for letters of recommendation.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this, but I'm glad to answer questions. But broadly, one person who can attest to your academics, one person that can attest to you in a professional setting.
And then the process is Ben and I will collect the applications for the summer and the 1 year programs respectively. And then we basically just funnel all of them to the host orgs and they then decide from there. So we are not really involved in the selection process per se, but we're facilitating everything. So you will hear from the host organizations if you get an interview offer, but then you'll hear from Ben or I if you get the actual offer. So we're kind of like the liaisons for the program, but the host organizations themselves are doing the selection. And then contact information is listed there.
And all channels through Solo.
Yes.
Have all of you used Solo before? Are you familiar with Solo? No? Okay. So it's Stanford on and off campus learning opportunities. They abbreviate to SOLO. So it is an application platform that a huge number of Haas Center programs use to promote and collect applications to just make sure that they're uniform and it can draw on system to get your student ID number and stuff like that. So all of our applications will go through Solo. That is where to upload everything.
And don't wait until 11:59 to click apply because it might lock you out. So give yourself a few hours because there is a very hard deadline.
Or a few days. Yeah.
Yeah, or a few days.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And we are the respective people as we've introduced ourselves. If you do have questions about these processes, we are the people to reach out to. You'll get a PDF of these slides too.
Yes,
after,
if you sign in, you get the slide back. Okay, so for the summer, there are 30 positions, which is amazing. In the past, it's only been 25. So this year's 30 because we're partnering with Precourt. And the host organizations are listed on the slide. There are 9 of them. And for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, their applications are already open and you can definitely look at the roles and everything. For the rest of them, we're still collecting the job descriptions and we'll open the applications. The goal is by the end of next week. So visit the website by then and they should all be up. So the new organizations that are coming on board this year for the summer Schneider program are California Forward, Climate Cabinet, and Rewiring America. And we have worked with those organizations in different capacities through the Haas Center or Precourt, but that's just not through the Schneider program just yet. So we're very excited to have new organizations for Schneider. And then the other ones have worked with Schneider for many, many years. And you will hear from a couple of them in just a few minutes. And the reviews from former fellows for the summer have been just tremendous for all of these organizations. So we're excited to continue the partnerships with these organizations. And the roles range. One of the common questions is, are they technical? Are they policy-based? It's something for everyone. Like EDF also has like communications roles as well. So you don't have to, only study environmental engineering, for example. There are definitely technical roles, but it really ranges.
Okay. For the year-long Schneider Fellowship, to give a little bit more information, this still holds true that I am to be determined in terms of which locations and the exact job descriptions for those offices. However, so we will hear from David Lee in a minute, who's shown here as one of the 2024 fellows. David was at the DC office, focused on things at the federal level, which is often the case at the DC office. Ella was a clean energy and climate fellow focused on the West Coast, especially. So she was at the San Francisco office. David was hired on and has continued working at NRDC and now in their New York office. Ella, as was the plan, has applied to medical school and has started medical school as of this year. And our current fellow is working at the New York office, focused on transportation, so especially focused on electric vehicles and policy around that. So to just give you a sense of some projects, those tend to be pretty typical in terms of those respective offices. And then Rachel, a 2015 fellow with a little testimonial at the side there as well. David was hired on. Is this unusual? No, not really. More than 50% of our fellows continue working at NRDC or return to work at NRDC, maybe after grad school or after some time away. But just to give you a sense of sort of the range of institutions where fellows that do the year-long Schneider Fellowship have ended up, it's not exclusively public service, though it is certainly a lot in that direction. And of course, NRDC being a host to a number of them. So is it a guarantee that you'll be offered a job to continue there? No. However, it's really an unbelievable way to kickstart building that relationship, building that bridge, not to mention the network of people that you are attached to by being a Schneider Fellow that are working in all these different spaces. Okay, just a couple of other images to give you a sense of what our fellows have done in their fellowship year. So in 2021, the 4 fellows at the time all were flown out to Glasgow to attend COP26. And just the other year in 2024, Annie Menando and Bella Sullivan went out to Seoul for an electric vehicle and emerging technology conference, Alberta conference that was happening in Seoul. So there really is a desire to invest in you. This is from NRDC. To help you become that sort of leader, really a desire to invest in your professional development in that year as well. Okay.
And we have some guest speakers joining us through Zoom. And the first person is David Lee, who, as Ben said, just completed his one-year fellowship at the NRDC, but he also did the Schneider Summer Program in summer of 2023 with EDF. So he is going to speak about both experiences. And then after David, we'll have a staff member from the US Green Building Council. And then after Brandon, we have somebody from the EDF as well. So I will turn it over to David.
Okay, I'm going to pin your video, David, and I'll probably stop sharing slides. There we are. Okay, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, hear you great. Can you hear me?
Excellent. Okay. Well, then without further ado, I'm glad to let you jump in. If you could share a little bit about going from Stanford to your fellowship experience, then back to Stanford, and then to your year-long at NRDC, and where that's gotten you. In any order you'd like, we'd love to hear.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. I don't know if I shared actually, but I did also actually just go to a conference from the, what's it called? The Aside Fellowship Fund. This was in June. I went to Paris for a week to the International Association of Energy Economics Conference. And then that led up to a trip with some friends to go visit a friend who's doing a master's at Oxford. So it lined up pretty well. I don't know if I ever shared that experience with you, Ben. So just wanted to put that out there because that was on the slideshow. But yeah. So I graduated in class 24. I majored in environmental systems engineering, did a minor in computer science. And then I did a Schneider Fellowship in the summer of my junior year. This is following the sort of experience I had at Stanford, Washington, where I interned at the Department of Energy. And then right before that, I was at the California Resources Board, which is during my summer sophomore year. In terms of the order of how I went through that experience, of deciding to apply for the Schneider Fellowship Program in that summer. I started at CARB, sort of seeking any sort of experience in regulation, And since CARB is sort of a pioneering agency in state policy, I wanted to see how, they shape regulation from the ground up. And then following that experience, I wanted to sort of see how policy is viewed from a federal vantage point. And so that's where I pivoted over to Department of Energy at Stanford, Washington. Also an incredible experience. If anyone's interested in talking about that, happy to also speak more about that. Was a peer sort of counselor afterwards for SIW. So huge fan of SIW, would advocate for it fully. And then following that, I wanted to see how I guess I could approach policy, law, and tech all at the same time from a more like private entity, which is where I entered at EDF. And then when I was at EDF, I worked with the Federal Climate Innovation Team on a climate funding tracker, which essentially integrated different types of data from different agencies, including EPA, Department of Interior, Department of Energy, looking at the different, amounts of funding spread across appropriations data, looking at what amount of funding per year is primarily from 2023, 2024, and then ongoing into 2025 was spent on climate innovation efforts. That involved a lot of conversations with government officials and just seeking through data and then integrating that data via Excel. And then afterwards came back to Stanford for my senior year, was potentially going to do or complete a co-term in civil engineering in atmosphere and energy. Decided to forego that and instead pursue the one-year fellowship program. I'd also been thinking about law school for a really long time since high school. And so that was sort of what drew my decision over to doing the one-year fellowship. I'm likely going to be applying the following fall, so next cycle. But this opportunity, the one-year opportunity, is super, I think, helpful in sort of being a pipeline in going to graduate school or to another position afterwards. Just like Ben had mentioned, there is an opportunity to be rehired by NRDC. Fortunately, I was returned a sort of temporary term just because my boss at the time, including now, knew that I wanted to go to law school afterwards. So I'm sort of on an extension fellowship, not technically a rehire, since it's a little bit complicated with nonprofits. But yeah, it's been a great opportunity so far. The work I've been able to do has been, super fun, interesting. And I've been incredibly grateful for, this opportunity, from, the get-go, when I graduated, but also even now. Happy to speak about anything else related to the work I'm doing now, post Trump being elected last year, unfortunately. Sorry to anyone out there who might be a supporter. And also the work I was doing before that, for the months prior to Trump being elected.
Thank you, David. Okay, should open up.
Yeah, any questions for David at this point?
That's speaking to the mic.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So my question is, you mentioned that you chose to undergo the 1 year instead of the co-term, right? Did you ever consider, doing a 1 year and then doing co-term after that, or still doing both of them, or did it have to be one or the other?
Yeah, my original plan was actually to do the co-term and then return. But I was able to relocate to New York, which was the driving decision. Because most of the friends that I had that were co-terming while I was doing the fellowship were actually moving to New York afterwards. My sister also lives here, strong contingent on community. And also the law schools that I want to apply to, are mostly on the East Coast. And so I wanted to experience living on the East Coast for another year before making that decision. And then also the co-term that I was doing, which was atmosphere and energy, was essentially just an extension of the degree I already did in environmental systems engineering. All the courses were essentially the same. And so I wouldn't really be adding anything to my profile other than a master's of science, which is also arguably pretty trivial if you're going to be pursuing a JD, which was my plan at the time and including now. So yeah, it was sort of a toss up, but definitely like the return on experience. And I think something that like I definitely hadn't thought about prior to like pursuing the fellowship. And then when like it came to the decision of returning to Stanford or of continuing the work, was like the pause that I'd be taking in like a professional career before going back into school again. Which I think is definitely like having talked to other people who were sort of in the same boat, pursued like, you know, a professional like opportunity that wasn't a degree afterwards, like after the fellowship versus a degree. The consensus that I was getting was that like there's definitely like, I don't know, like once you're like in industry and then you're out of industry and you're going back into it, like there's like a lag in learning that you're going to be having within that year that you'd be spending on a degree, especially if it's like, yeah, on something that you've already like learned, I guess. And so that was also a part of like that decision.
In terms of eligibility, if you happen to be a senior thinking about a co-term or you happen to be a co-term, you're eligible like fundamentally for these programs. And some co-term programs, if you get in, will allow you to defer. So if you do want to do a year-long fellowship and then return, like you can keep that option open as well, depending upon the requirements of the program and what they offer. So.
Oh, also I did want to mention funding was a huge part of it, because obviously like your co-term isn't paid for. Fortunately, like my entire undergraduate was paid for, through financial aid. And so I was like, also like, okay, like I have to pay for the co-term. How is that, you know, going to work? I actually applied to be an RA, which I would strongly recommend if anyone's like deciding on, oh wait, okay, never mind. That's not available, I think, to your guys' class. But our class of 2020 high school, and our freshman year was COVID, at Stanford. And so there was an opportunity to like return to RA. And so I was going to actually RA for outdoor house. And then I like foregoed that as well as like the co-term to instead like do, but like funding was a big part of the discussion because that's also, yeah, like a ton of money that you're going to be investing into another year at Stanford.
Great, thank you, David. I think we're gonna turn over to Brandon at US Green Building Council. But if you have any more questions for David, let us know at the end.
Thank you, David.
Okay, hi Brandon, thank you for joining us. We are going to turn it over to you to talk a little bit about USGBC's fellowship programs.
Absolutely. Hi, Valerie. Thank you so much for letting me take part in the info session today. Hello, all the students. I realized I should have eaten lunch before I joined the meeting because I saw everyone eating lunch, and now I'm really hungry. But anyways, I'll just eat after. But hi, everyone. My name is Brandon. I'm part of the talent acquisition team here at USGBC. I've been here for a little over 2 years now, and I help oversee the full life cycle recruitment process for all of our positions from the associate to director level. I also help oversee our internship program, as well as the Schneider program as well. So with that, we can go to the next slide. Perfect. So before getting into our mission, I want to introduce USGBC to all of you. Maybe some of you have heard us or you've seen the LEED plaques in some of the buildings. If not, no worries at all. USGBC, we're a global nonprofit organization. We're a true 501c3. And what we do is we work to make buildings and communities more sustainable. So our main goal is to create spaces that use less energy and water, produce less waste, and provide healthier environments for the people who actually use them. And so we're best known for developing LEED, leadership in energy and environmental design. It's one of the world's most widely used green building rating systems. And so LEED essentially gives buildings a score based on how environmentally friendly they are. This encourages designers, builders, and owners to make better choices for the built environment. So beyond LEED, USGBC, we also provide education, research, and community programs that help students, professionals, and cities understand and apply these different sustainable practices. We host events, we support green building projects, and essentially we're leading the effort to create greener, healthier, and more efficient buildings, helping shape a more sustainable future. So that ties into our mission, which you see on the screen. We transform how buildings and communities are designed, built, and operated to create healthy, more equitable, and resilient places that advance human and environmental well-being. So, next slide, please. Perfect. All right, so goals of the program. So I know Valerie kind of went over big picture in terms of how to apply for the role. So, but I want to go over, what we're looking to get out of, or what we want you to get out of this program. And so for us, it starts with accelerating building decarbonization nationwide. We're not just studying the problem, we're working directly on cutting edge US GBC initiatives that are shaping essentially the next generation of climate forward building standards. So the work you do here is much part of a bigger national effort. Secondly, the program is designed to translate research into real world impact. If you've ever wondered how your academic work can actually influence policy, this is where it can happen. Fellows contribute to projects that inform sustainability decisions at the federal, state, and city levels. It's an opportunity to see your work become part of real policy conversations. And one example of that is we do have a showcase at the end of the summer. And so it's an opportunity for you to, in front of the entire organization, which I know may sound daunting at first, but it's an opportunity in front of all of our leaders and everyone else that contributes to the mission to showcase the work you've done over the summer. So you'll be able to actually create deliverable impact. With that, the third goal is personal and professional growth. Throughout the fellowship, you'll be mentored by people who are leading the sustainability field. This can be anywhere from being having your mentor be the chief of staff or COO, or project managers, folks in the technical product management and policy space. We also offer professional development opportunities, and so it's free courses and an opportunity to obtain any green building certifications free of charge, because we want you to be successful and to get that next step in your career with this fellowship. And finally, this program is about leading innovation within the built environment. And so fellows will get to explore how tools like AI, data analysis, and resilience modeling can shape the future of green buildings. It really is a chance to push, the boundaries of what's possible and help define the next era of sustainable design. So overall, fellowship offers a chance to make real impact. You're going to grow as a leader, you're going to grow professionally early in your career, and work at the forefront of innovation in building decarbonization. Next slide. Perfect. All right. So goals of the program. What is going to make you successful in this role? What's going to make a successful fellow? So first, it's having a genuine passion for sustainability impact. We look for people who are motivated by advancing the decarbonization, improving building health, and contributing to meaningful climate solutions. Regardless of what team you're on, we have some folks who, whether you're on technology, whether you're in HR, legal, regardless of what team you're on, you're still contributing to the mission and bringing on that impact. The second quality is curiosity and a strong growth mindset. We always say the fellows that succeed the most in these programs are those who are just genuinely curious and want to learn more. And so someone who's excited to dive in, pick up new concepts quickly. And so if you're a quick learner and you're willing to take that initiative and be proactive, then you'll be very successful in this program. Next would be, like I just said, initiative and ownership. Fellows have real responsibility here. You're going to have your own projects. You're going to be able to exchange feedback with leaders across different teams. This is an organization where we're constantly trying to reinvent the wheel. We're very receptive to change. And so, we always say no question's a bad question. We want you to speak up. We want you to share your opinion and your thoughts, because at any level, whether you're still in school or you've been in the field for 20 years, your opinion matters, and we want that feedback. And then also talking about collaboration and communication. You'll be working with teams across different principles, whether it's policy, technical experts, data analysts, and partner organizations. So strong communication will help make those connections smooth and productive. And finally, just having strong analytical and research skills. A lot of the work involves interpreting data, synthesizing insights, and presenting findings clearly. So being able to turn information into actionable recommendations is a key part of the role. All right. So I want to now introduce some of the hiring managers. This week, we happen to be having board meetings this entire week, and so they're traveling across the country. We actually have some who are outside of the country right now with some of our C-suite leadership, and so they were unable to join the call, but I want you to at least have an idea of who you'd possibly be working with in this role. So the first person is Heather Payson. She's our vice president of the technical product development team. She helps guide the vision and strategic priorities for all of USGBC's technical products, from building scaling tools to broader market frameworks, including LEAD. And so for anyone who's interested in literally the technical development of what goes into the LEAD rating systems and how to develop these frameworks from scratch, then this is a role that be best suited for you. And Heather's been in the space for over 15 years, and she's very excited to have a fellow support her next summer. So next up, we have Vijayaha. Vijayaha is our vice president of product management. She guides the strategic development and management of the core sustainable certification programs. I mentioned LEAD a few times, but we also have WELL, TRUE, CITES, and others. And so if you're interested in the product development when it comes to overseeing certification delivery, essentially how do we get these buildings certified, then product management will be best suited for you. And Vijay has also been here for over 15 years. One thing to know is we have great tenure within our organization. So you're going to be paired with hiring managers who really know the ins and outs, not only of course, the organization, but also the green building industry. And then lastly, Liz Beardsley, she's our senior policy counsel. She's been with us for over 12 years now. She's another key leader guiding the evolution of all of our sustainability programs. She helps oversee the strategic development and management of our organization's core programs, LEAD, WELL, TRUE, and CITES. So she's instrumental in that process. Of course, she works at the city, state, and federal level. And so if you're more interested in policy, and so advancing green building initiatives through policy work, then Liz is someone who you'd be very excited to work with. All these hiring managers, they were also selected because they are the types of hiring managers who have a more servant-style leadership. One thing to note here is that we do not like to micromanage at USGBC. We put a lot of trust into our team members, just to allow that independence to grow professionally, but also give you room to work creatively, especially because these are remote opportunities. And so that's essentially kind of what the work culture is like. But that's what I have for you today. And I welcome any questions that any of you might have.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Jaden, and I really appreciate the presentation. I was curious, I think two things about the role. The first of which is maybe the difference between the in-person and the, I think, virtual or hybrid format.
Sure.
And then the second would be, I think, what it looks like kind of on the day-to-day working in this role.
Great question. So the difference between virtual or in-person. So working remotely in this role, you're not going to miss out on opportunities that you would get in person. And so with that, you're going to have virtually, you're going to have one-on-ones, of course, with your hiring managers. You're going to have weekly meetings with the entire team. That way you're actually involved in all these conversations. And so working remote is not a way for us to say, here's all the work. We'll connect with you a week from now. We really want you to be a part of the process. And so you're going to be involved in all of those behind the scenes conversations with not only your hiring manager, but with the team. So you get to see what is the thought process that goes into all of the decision making. You're also going to be part of weekly education sessions. So that's an opportunity for you to connect with the education team to learn not only more about all of our recurring green building initiatives, but also there's different sessions where you're going to meet with different leaders. There's even an opportunity, for example, to connect with the HR team if you have like general questions about anything relating to early career development. So those are just some of the things you can get in a virtual remote position. In person, of course, there is one big difference. Working in person at our Washington, D.C. headquarters, the entire C-suite team is here. All of leadership is here. So that is a great opportunity to meet everyone in person. I actually host a collaboration day event, which is it's the last Wednesday of every month. It's not like, I'm sure you guys have seen the meme of you get one slice of pizza and the office is like gray and like nobody wants to come into work. That's not the case here. We get a really nice, we cater an entire lunch. We have a happy hour on the rooftop. We have games. We have live music. And so it really is a great opportunity to just have you socialize with other folks on different teams and other leaders. So I hope that answers your first question. And then I think your second question was regarding like what the role entails.
Yeah, kind of on the day-to-day.
Yeah, so that's going to vary depending on which role, right? The product management, the policy team, and then technical development. But broadly speaking, you're going to be assigned projects by your hiring manager. So you'll have those time blocks to complete those projects. And then you're going to have your different meetings that I had mentioned before, one-on-ones, and then meetings that you're going to have with the team. You'll be included in those education sessions as well. Once you start your first education session, which is a week after your first start date, you'll be able to complete any courses or certifications that you may be seeking. So that's something that you can also be doing on a day-to-day.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I think we'll turn it over to Gianella from EDF. And at this point, if Brendan, if you have time to stick around, maybe at the end we can open it back up for everybody.
Yep. Sounds good.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, so we're now going to turn it over to our representative from EDF. Hi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Bear with me as I share my screen here. It's working. Can you all see my screen?
No.
One sec. Sorry. Of course, I have computer issues on. How about now?
Not visible.
One moment. Anyway, I'll introduce myself while I do this. If you all can still hear me, my name is Janella. I am a senior HR specialist at the Environmental Defense Fund, focused on intern recruiting and intern programming. My whole role is focused on intern recruitment and making sure you all have the best experience while you are at EDF. Still freezing up for me, so I apologize. People hear me?
Yes,
We
we
can
can
hear
still
you.
hear you.
Can you
If
see
you want
me?
It's yes, but it is laggy.
Okay, I have a
If you want to share slides, I can share them from my computer.
My computer's a full black screen right now, so I apologize. Let me see. Yeah, I can.
We can hear you though. So if you want to continue just sharing, that would be great.
Sounds good. The Environmental Defense Fund, I'll dive into a little bit about our mission. Our mission is a vital earth for everyone. And we do this through our 7 focus areas, which I can't. There we go. For me, not for you all, I don't think. But our 7 focus areas are agriculture, water and food, methane, clean energy, transportation, fuels and feedstocks, fisheries and oceans, forests, and healthy communities. And just me saying that they are very broad focus areas. And sorry, I just got internet is unstable, so hopefully you can still hear me. But those are very broad focus areas. We bring in experts from all different types of skill sets, industries, backgrounds to work on different projects underneath all of these focus areas. An example that is relevant to the Schneider Fellowship, for example, is our Economics Research Fellowship that's available for you all summer 2026, works closely with our Healthy Communities team. Our economics research fellow brings an economic perspective, monetizing the effects of petrochemical pollution in communities. So that show, and then there's another Healthy Communities position around clean air monitoring and looking more closely at working with local organizations local organizations in Texas that have community air monitoring systems built into place, and working with them to take that data and implement solutions to improve air quality locally. So you can see just under that one Healthy Communities bucket, there's more of that community engagement aspect, as well as more of an economic lens. Just pulse check. Can you all still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Cool. Thank you so
Sounds-
much. Sorry about that. And I can send these slides out to Valerie afterwards to send to you all if you're interested. There's some fun photos and stuff in here. But we have U.S. offices all across the U.S. This fellowship is available for all of you to be hybrid in any of them. We have offices in Austin, Boston, Boulder, New York, Raleigh, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C., with San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and New York being our bigger, busier offices. If you're looking for that in-person connection, definitely think those three are ones where folks are coming in. EDF works all mainly hybrid or remote. Also, in the slides, there's a wonderful plug with a photo of the San Francisco office view of the bridge, the famous bridge I can't think of right now, as well as the office dog. Our office manager in San Francisco has a dog that she brings in every once in a while. So those are just two little plugs for the San Francisco office. Jumping into kind of our summer internship program, as a Schneider Fellow in the summer, you are eligible to participate in all of our internship program offerings. This includes a speaker series that happens weekly where we bring in experts from across the organization to come speak to interns about their work, about their career path, and just give interns a little bit more depth into what is going on at EDF. Again, as I mentioned, we have so many different projects on many different things that cross from policy to science research to communications. And so we tried to create a robust speaker series that allows all interns to learn a little bit more about projects outside of just what they are working on. We also, in that same vein, have an intern mentorship program. This is a mentorship program that is in addition to the mentorship that you'll receive from your supervisor and your immediate team that you're working with. These folks are EDF staff that have volunteered to mentor interns for the summer. So you connect with them. They are additional support for you to help you grow your network at EDF, maybe learn about a different aspect. We try to make it so it's someone who has similar attributes as you. We do a whole matching program for it, but is not already directly on your team. So it allows you to kind of connect again with other people outside of your team at EDF and just overall have another person to support you in your journey. Additionally, other professional development opportunities we try to keep these flexible throughout every summer to tailor it to the intern cohort that is there. This past summer, one of the largest things that folks were looking to learn more about that was top on people's minds was the job market right now and how to really maximize their EDF experience to continue, looking for new opportunities, exploring new opportunities. So we brought in experts from our talent acquisition team, our talent development team to do small group sessions with interns to answer any of their questions, give them tips and tricks on that job hunt. We've done previous opportunities that also include like navigating the hybrid and remote workspace and how to kind of transition from school to professional work. So different opportunities are always available every year. We also do a lot of social events. There's photos, again, in the slide I can't share with you right now, of interns having lunch together in downtown San Francisco. We have different networking events with other nonprofits in DC every summer. So a lot of social events, both hybrid or in person and remote throughout the summer for you to connect with other interns. We also celebrate National Intern Day, and it's the last Tuesday of July, and that's just a way for us to celebrate all of you, all of the interns and fellows, and just, yeah, celebrate while you all are still there. And yeah, we have the social media spotlight, where we just, again, celebrate the work that interns are doing, and give a little insight publicly on the experiences that they have. We also have an intern symposium at the end of the internship, where folks can present to, and all EDF staff is invited, as well as partners and colleagues, to present on their work. And then lastly, we have the offering of meeting with our president, Fred Krupp. Our president was an intern back in the late 1970s, I think, 1980s. And so he's very supportive of the internship program as a whole. He, was an intern and has just worked his way up to being president of the organization. So he meets with all interns as part of the program every year in small group settings. He tries to go in person. He was in person in San Francisco in 2023. Otherwise, he's meeting with everyone remotely. And then my last thing is what we look for. I think I'll keep this brief because it echoes very closely to what Brandon mentioned, passion and curiosity in the work that we do in the role that you're applying to, really exemplifying that you're seeking growth in that field or in that role, and that, this would be something that would be new to you and that you'd be, having a new experience that is supporting your professional development through the opportunity. We also look for people that exemplify our values, respect, results, innovation, optimism, and integrity. And for a successful Schneider fellow at EDF, we really look for folks that are successful at EDF are really engaged in EDF and programming through participation and communication. We are a hybrid and remote workplace, so really love seeing folks participate, come off mute and connect with their peers, connect with other EDF staffers, really just that engagement piece is really how to maximize your EDF experience. Speaking of that, also utilizing our resources that EDF has to offer. We have not only the internship program, but also social activities committees with all staff. We have employee resource groups that interns are able to participate in. Again, those professional development opportunities. We have some other talent development opportunities that are offered to all EDF staff, including interns and fellows. So those opportunities are always available, and you can make the most of that. And then also echoing what Brandon said, asking questions and bringing new perspectives. As much as it is a learning and growing experience for you, you all are bringing amazing skill sets and experiences to the table as well. And we look forward to learning from interns and fellows every single year. And yeah, that's really all in the slides as well. There will be some links to our internships page on the website that includes a video of a summer 2025 intern, a former intern that has used their skill sets they gained at EDF to move on to other opportunities, and then a former intern that is now a staff attorney at EDF, and they all share their experiences. So highly recommend checking that video out. And then an email if you have any questions, as well as a plug for our Instagram, which is at EDF Interns, to stay up to date on program things. That is all for me.
Thank you. Any questions? Sure, or there you go.
So you can see what the 9.
Yeah, there are 9 positions at EDF.
Yeah, I did not list them because there were a lot of them, but these are the ones.
There are longer descriptions of each of them that are available. You can apply today, and you can see all of those as well.
It's not rolling though. Apply by the deadline, but it's not rolling.
It's possible. You have time.
But any questions for speakers? For Brandon as well? Are we? Well, we have one more slide that we can go through. And then if you think of any questions, I know we're nearing the end of our session, but just want to conclude with a couple of reminders and kind of point you to other directions as well.
For sure.
Yes, please. Oh. Hopefully that slide can
No,
go
it's
back
good.
up.
It'll work.
There we go. So there are a lot of summer opportunities at Stanford through Cardinal Porter and otherwise, as you all know. And these are some of the other programs that you may want to consider if you're interested in sustainability or sustainable energy. And just a plug that there will be another joint Schneider Schultz Energy Fellowships info session coming up in January, if you want to hear more about Schultz and Schneider in the same room. But there are a variety of different internships and fellowships opportunities in sustainability that you can consider over the summer. And then postgrad.
Postgrads, how many of you are in your final academic year at Stanford, undergrad or co-term? Okay. I'm talking to a few of you anyway. If you're interested in the Schneider Fellowship, I really encourage you to also check out the Gardner Fellowship and the Community Impact Fellowship. I oversee all 3 of these programs. Gardner is sort of a choose your own adventure that you apply with ideas about where you would want to be placed and might be offered the fellowship on the basis of that. And then we make it happen as part of the fellowship program. So if you are, this is a, where do you want to be? Let's make it happen sort of fellowship, externally funded, very cool thing. Community Impact Fellowship, we will have roles that are sustainability specific that are especially local to the Bay Area. So if you are, those job descriptions will go live December 15th. So for anything having to do with other post-graduation, full-time job opportunities, do sign up for our newsletter, ask me any questions. I am the person for that. That's it for now. And for any other things in regard to advising for jobs, like we hope that you, in addition to applying to these things, you're applying to other things too. So happy to help connect you with cool people that are doing the work or advise resumes, cover letters, you name it, for public service roles. That's our purpose.
Yeah, go ahead.
One question, and this was for the 2 people that spoke.
Yeah, I think they're still on Zoom.
Yeah. What is like the more technical positions at your organization look like in terms of the role that they do?
This is especially to Brandon, Janella.
Yeah,
Feel free
great
to
question. You were asking about what are not the fellows, but the actual full-time positions that are technical?
Sure, yeah. And then also just like what the interns will be doing.
Yeah. So for us, for the fellow, it would be the technical development role, which all has to do with the curation and implementation of all the different LEED rating systems. So that's where you're going to be diving deep into our ARC platform, which is essentially a performance data dashboard. That's how you can review all of the tracking that goes into the certification process and how we certify the buildings, right? And so it's tracking all the points and how that's measured throughout the process. So that would be the most technical. And then it would be the product management, because that's more about delivering those products to external stakeholders and essentially getting their buy-in as to why they should certify their buildings. And then the least technical would be the policy role, of course, but that's still a great opportunity. If you're someone that thinks you're a great writer and you like diving deep into the research, that would be another good opportunity.
For EDF, we have a methane data activity intern, which I think, or fellow, which would be, I think, the most technical out of all of them. And that will be using like Python and other data tools to look at methane emissions globally. We also have a number of different like research ones, depending on, I guess, like what your technical expertise is. We do have a number of research-based fellowships that are available in fisheries and livestock methane, economics. So yeah, the program descriptions are all on the website. There's just a vast range of them, depending on what technical work you are looking to do. And then we also have like our communications and policy focused ones as well.
Thank you.
I'm aware of the time as well, but if you have the time to stick around, you're certainly welcome to. Thank you to our
Thank you.
speakers.
Thank you.